Remember the story of Hannah, the wife of Elkanah, in 1 Samuel chapters 1 and 2. She was ridiculed for being childless by her co-wife Peninnah. Peninnah had control of the triggers that would pull Hannah down into depression. And boy, did she use them. So often and so much so, Hannah would cry and starve, while her tormentor laughed and feasted at her expense. And that was the story until the day Hannah decided enough was enough. Hannah decided to stop doing nothing about her situation, because really, doing nothing has never and will never help anybody. She realized that after years of crying and starving and hiding, nothing had improved. If you are doing something that is not helping your situation, doesn't smart dictate that we change our strategies? This time, Hannah stepped out of hiding and stepped into the presence of the one who changes everything, with whom nothing is impossible. Apart from the fact that many of us do nothing, those who step out end up in the wrong place with the wrong people, which complicates the problem. You have to move in the right direction. You have to go in the direction of help that enables you to get out, not enablers that support you to stay down. Hannah opened her mouth and began to pour out the heaviness and misery that has haunted her all those years. In case you don't know yet, there is power in giving voice to your emotions. It's called venting. When you open the valve and let all the pressure out, there is this calming and soothing relief that floods your insides, even though there's still no solution in sight. The problem with some of us is that we vent to the wrong people who use what we've said against us to push us deeper into the hole we're trying to escape. Who are you venting to? Not everyone posing as a friend actually cares about you. There are friends who are worse than enemies. May discernment and discretion guide your steps and utterances. Hannah poured it all out to the one she believed could change her situation. She emptied every heavy and bitter thing that has piled over the years, one on top of the other. She not only poured out the deep, dark, and heavy stuff, she also made a commitment in hope that day. Hope that God will give her the desire of her heart. Hope that she will have a normal life like every other woman of her time. Hope that things will change for the better. Hope is a dangerous thing. Let's step back and note some key steps Hannah took. She changed her strategy. Instead of crying and starving and hiding, she decided to get up, get out, and do something different, and that made all the difference. She went before the one who could help her. She opened up and talked to someone to whom her nonsense would make sense. She talked to someone who would listen and hear not just her words, but also her heart. She talked to someone who would listen without judging her. She talked to someone who could help her. I just needed to reiterate these points, especially for those of us who lock it all up inside. That thing inside will kill you if you don't let it out. The pile will keep building until it explodes one day and creates more mess than you can handle. Venting is a healthy way of letting out the pressure and heat within for sweet and simple relief. Also, for those of us who end up talking to the wrong people, then come back wondering why their situation is worse off. Baby, you gotta guard your heart and who you give access to your soul, especially in those vulnerable moments. Whoever you give access to your heart gains a measure of control over you, your emotions, and potentially your actions, so you can't afford to be careless about that. Don't go to someone in the same mess as you. Don't turn to people who don't care. What you need in such times is HELP, Help. Find someone who can help. And don't forget, there is always that friend who sticks closer than a brother, the shepherd and lover of our souls, who died 2,000 years ago to prove his eternal love for us. It was in the process of venting that Hannah saw a glimmer of hope in her situation. That despondent woman made a commitment right there and then and walked away with hope that no one and nothing could snatch from her. Make a commitment to do something in hope of seeing your dream come true. Commit to something that will improve, not deteriorate your situation. Maybe consciously steering clear and deliberately cutting out people and things that push your triggers. Maybe change your lifestyle, your diet, eating healthier and cutting back on junk. Exercise. How about 30 minutes aerobic exercise at least 3 times a week? Maybe get a workout or diet partner. Maybe go see a therapist and learn healthy venting, getting helpful feedback, and diligently working on their recommendations. How about changing your sleep pattern so you get more rest? The times are different from Hannah's, and so also the situations. But the bottom line is to start doing nothing about something that is killing us. To do the little we can, the best we can, and trust God for the rest that we can do for ourselves. Make some commitments. Start little, grow it, and see it through. Immediately after her encounter at the altar, Hannah chose to eat and be merry. Why? It wasn't because her condition changed instantly. She was still as childless when she returned as she was when she stepped out. What changed then? Hope. She chose hope over despondency that day. She chose gratitude over regrets because she chose to look forward and stop looking backward. Hannah chose to start looking up instead of looking down on herself and her situation. She chose to nurture hope, which is the most effective antidepressant. She came hopeless and depressed and walked away hopeful and joyful. She believed her circumstance will change. Hope is a powerful force for healing and recovery. Hope changed her attitude. Hope sucked up the tears and put smiles on her face. Hope lifted up her spirit and added springs to her step. How can you embrace hope today? Hope is a critical portion for overcoming depression. How can you find hope and embrace it until you begin to live it on a day-to-day basis? It's easy for people who have no clue of what you're up against and where you have been to jump to conclusions. But that's their business. Your business is your well-being. So redirect your focus every time you need to. Move away from negative people, negative environment, and negative results. It is not denial. No, it is taking responsibility for your choices. It is choosing what you see so you can gain a better control of what you think and what you do subsequently. It is being proactive and it is taking charge instead of allowing events and people who don't know any better or don't care to determine the direction of your emotions and actions. You are choosing to do you in the best way you know how to. It may not seem a lot, but every little step in the right direction of thought means a lot to someone struggling, whatever the problem. We don't have to live in denial. That is an unhealthy approach that may produce temporary relief, but eventually leaves things more complicated. We want healthy approaches that are sustainable. It's okay to acknowledge that the current situation is unpleasant and possibly unacceptable, but it could have been worse. This approach stirs a bit of gratitude despite the difficulties, and gratitude is a lifter. If you can crack open a window for the ray of gratitude to stream into that dark space, It will naturally rise to displace regrets, and it will lift you up. Oftentimes, we conclude that our situation is so bad, we have nothing to be grateful for. And that is a fat lie that sinks the ship we are trying to save. It is hard to be objective when you are feeling depressed, but a little effort makes a huge difference. The Bible says that you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. The truth you know will help you fight the lies that are coming at you in those vulnerable moments. What is truth? That your situation may be horrible, but you are not a horrible person. You are not your condition. You are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image and likeness of the most gracious and faithful God. What you are feeling is a phase. It will come to pass. Your condition does not determine your end. No, God decides that. And He is working everything, including this, together for good, so He can give you a beautiful ending. Your situation may seem hopeless to you right now, but God's plan for you and your future is glorious. Believe this, then get up, change your focus, and begin to take your baby steps out of the dark into the light. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with family and friends. Be inspired. You are a star, and it's your time to shine.